The film opens in France, August 1944, during the Nazi occupation. That year, the German forces had seized a massive amount of valuable assets, including a staggering 27 tons of gold bars. To safeguard this treasure, the Nazis chose to hide it in a small village in Bosnia. They soon took over the area, arresting the villagers, especially focusing on the youth. Fearing for their children's safety, desperate parents urged their sons to flee from the Nazi grip. After forcing the villagers out, the Nazis worked quickly to stash the gold inside a village building. But what they didn't know was that a group of Serbs had been watching from a nearby hill. The Serbs were gearing up for an attack on the Nazi soldiers. The story then jumps ahead to 1995, 51 years after the gold was hidden. In Sarajevo, Bosnia's capital, tensions between the Bosnians and Serbs had boiled over into a long, violent conflict. It was during this chaotic time that two American journalists, Duffy and Stan, arrived to report on the situation. Their goal was to interview a feared and ruthless Serbian general, known for his brutal ways. However, before they could get close, Serbian soldiers arrested them, suspecting that the journalists were spies. The soldiers aggressively searched them, even forcing Duffy and Stan to strip down. Luckily, a Serbian officer named Petrovic stepped in and demanded the journalists be released. He wanted their reports to paint the general as a fair and honest leader, even though the general's reputation was the complete opposite, cruel and ruthless. Just as Duffy and Stan prepared to start reporting, it was revealed that they were not regular journalists at all. They were actually highly trained U.S. soldiers on a top-secret mission. Meanwhile, in the same town, 3 other American soldiers had quietly infiltrated the area through the river. Led by Captain Matt and accompanied by his teammates Jack and Ben, they had one objective: capture the general. The mission was delicate and required them to stay hidden at all costs. The team moved with precision and caution, knowing that success was crucial for the greater plans of the U.S. military. At the planned moment, Stan and Duffy leapt into action. They swiftly overpowered the general's bodyguards, taking them down with ease. Next, they managed to capture General Milik by quietly drugging him. Meanwhile, Captain Matt and his team snuck into the building where the general was giving an interview. Once inside, they carefully set a bomb under the floor and waited for the perfect moment. When the time came, the bomb went off, causing a huge explosion that sent everyone into a panic. The chaos worked in the team's favor, and the general rushed out of the building, exactly as planned. Using the confusion to their advantage, Matt and his team successfully captured General Milik and quickly moved him to a secret location, all without drawing attention from the Serbian forces. Outside, Petrovic and his bodyguards heard the loud explosion and hurried into the interview room, only to find that General Milik had vanished. Meanwhile, Matt and his team tried to make their escape but ran into a group of Serbian soldiers waiting for them. A fierce gunfight broke out, and the situation grew tense and dangerous. The team fought hard, using every skill and strategy they had to defend themselves and keep the general safe. Despite their efforts, the Serbian forces kept pushing them back with overwhelming numbers. Captain Matt realized they needed a new plan if they wanted to complete the mission and get out alive. He quickly decided to use the tank that Ben had taken control of earlier. Ben expertly maneuvered the tank, smashing through the building walls to create an escape route for the team. The escape wasn't easy. As they made their way toward a bridge, the Serbian troops chased them with heavy weapons and military vehicles. Surrounded and out of options, Matt gave a bold command. He told Jack to aim at the bridge's edge and then drive the tank off it, plunging them into the river below. It was a risky and desperate move, but it was their only chance of survival. With no other choice, they made their escape through the river. After their heart-racing getaway, Matt and his team finally reached the safety of the American military base in Bosnia. Their commander, Levin, came to personally congratulate them on their successful mission. The team was exhausted, but felt a deep sense of relief. They shared stories of the high-stakes chase and the dangers they faced while capturing the general. Although the mission was a success, Commander Levin reminded them of the importance of following the rules of engagement and the consequences of their actions. The next day, Matt and his team were summoned to Commander Levin's office. The room was thick with tension as the commander sternly reprimanded them for their actions during the mission. What was meant to be a covert operation to capture a Serbian general had turned into chaos, leading to widespread destruction across Sarajevo. Commander Levin was visibly frustrated and struggled to find the right words. He knew the team's actions would only worsen the already fragile situation in the region. Matt tried to explain what had happened, that they were outnumbered and had no choice but to fight their way out, but Levin was too upset to listen. His anger was clear, and he was already dreading the conversation he would have to have with his superiors. By the end of the meeting, the commander ordered Matt and his team to take 3 days off to cool down. Eager to unwind, Matt and his team decided to celebrate their successful mission with a night out at a local bar. They ordered drinks and let loose, happy to have some time to relax. At the lively club, Stan met a charming and friendly waitress named Lara. As the team wrapped up their night of fun and headed back to headquarters, Stan chose to split from the group, craving some fresh air and eager to spend more time with Lara. What he didn't know was that Lara had actually been his girlfriend for a few years, though they had kept their relationship under wraps. While Stan and Lara were enjoying each other's company at her house, Lara's younger brother, Malenko, barged in with his friends. They demanded something valuable from Lara, but she refused to give it up, sparking a heated argument. The loud confrontation grabbed Stan's attention, and he stepped in, trying to defuse the situation. But things quickly escalated, and Malenko's friends turned hostile. Stan fought them off as best as he could, but one of the men managed to hold a gun to his head, leaving Stan defenseless. With no other choice, Lara reluctantly revealed the valuable item they were after. Just as Malenko and his friends were leaving the house with the item, they ran into Matt, who was already waiting outside. Without wasting any time, Matt jumped into action and subdued the group, who were still reeling from their scuffle with Stan. It turned out that Matt had known about Stan's relationship with Lara all along and had kept an eye on them, ready to step in if needed. Lara then revealed what her brother was so desperate to get: a solid gold bar weighing 12.4 kilograms, worth around $150,000. Stan was stunned and asked Lara where she had found such a treasure. Lara offered to take him to the lake where she had discovered it. The two dove into the water, and Stan was amazed to see the remains of ancient settlements and structures on the lakebed. The sight of the ruins, combined with the mystery of the gold bar, left him intrigued and eager to uncover more secrets hidden beneath the water. The scene shifts to a small Bosnian village, where panic spreads as mothers desperately order their sons to escape from the approaching Nazis. But there was one boy who didn't leave right away. By chance, he witnessed Nazi soldiers stashing piles of gold bars inside a house in the village. Without the soldiers noticing, the boy managed to steal one of the gold bars and sprinted up the hill to flee. As he ran, he turned around and saw a horrifying sight: his mother and the other villagers being brutally killed by the Nazis. In that terrifying moment, the boy was saved by Serbian rebel soldiers who had been preparing to fight back. These rebels had a plan to destroy the dam and flood the village, aiming to wipe out the Nazi forces. Years later, the overflow from that dam created a large lake that hid a secret treasure: gold bars lying submerged in the houses below the water's surface. Only one person knew about this treasure: the boy who had escaped. He grew up to be Lara's grandfather, and he had kept the truth about the hidden gold a secret. Before he passed, Lara's grandfather told her about the treasure. He revealed that a massive fortune, 27 tons of gold, was still lying at the bottom of the lake. Stan, a close friend of Lara's, came up with a daring plan to retrieve the gold, even though it was in enemy territory. He gathered 4 more friends to help Lara with the mission. They all agreed to share the profits, planning to use the money to improve their city and benefit themselves. Their jaws dropped when they learned the gold was worth about $300 million. Fueled by excitement and determination, the group began preparing for the dangerous mission. They carefully assigned roles for the recovery. Stan would dive to scout the lake's bottom, Jack would work on unlocking the iron safes holding the gold, and Ben would handle lifting the heavy treasure. To get the equipment they needed, they snuck into their headquarters warehouse and stole the necessary gear. But their plans took an unexpected turn when Lara found out something shocking. Her own brother had already taken some of the gold and sold it to a dealer, putting their entire mission at risk. The discovery of the stolen gold didn't stay hidden for long. The Serbian army, tipped off by the gold dealer, captured the group. However, Jack and Ben managed to escape and found themselves on a helicopter, planning their next move. Jack came up with a risky plan. They would use the helicopter to lift the gold out of the lake. To make this happen, Jack enlisted the help of Jimmy, the helicopter pilot, promising him a share of the gold in return. Jack made Jimmy swear to keep the mission secret from Commander Levin. The team felt crushed when they heard the news. Their mission to kidnap the Serbian general had failed, causing far too many casualties. As a result, Commander Levin informed them that a new, more capable team would replace them. They had just 36 hours left in Bosnia before being sent back to the United States. The sudden change left them feeling lost and unsure of what the future held. Trying to lighten the mood, Matt gathered the team, suggesting they pack up and share one last night of drinks together. That evening, they drank, laughed, and reflected on their time in Bosnia, wondering what would come next. Later that night, Jack and Duffy, both drunk and reckless, stumbled upon the new team sent to replace them. Without thinking clearly, they started a fight, attacking the newcomers until the moment came for them to leave Bosnia and head back to America. Meanwhile, Stan and his friends made a bold choice. They decided they couldn't wait any longer and had to retrieve the gold that very night. They met at the airbase and managed to trick the pilots, claiming they had a top-secret mission to carry out. The pilots, believing them, agreed to escort the team. As they arrived at their destination, Laura and the team geared up to begin the treasure hunt. Matt and his teammates quickly dove into the lake, equipped and ready to recover the gold. They had to work fast, creating breathable air pockets underwater to deal with the limited oxygen supply and the challenge of the stagnant water. Meanwhile, Petrovich was investigating Lara's house. He found clues that led him to suspect what Matt and his team were up to, recovering the gold from the lake. Unbeknownst to Matt and the others, Petrovich had already made his way to the lake and was watching their every move, staying hidden as he observed. As Matt and his team worked on cracking open the safe that held the gold, each member focused on their role, unaware of the eyes on them. The tension grew thick as both sides raced against each other, each determined to achieve their goal, knowing that any misstep could change everything. Back at the American military base, Commander Levin grew increasingly worried. He couldn't understand where Matt and his team had disappeared to. When he finally found out they were on a secret mission to recover gold, he was furious. He immediately ordered them to return to base, but despite the pressure, Matt and his team pressed on with their mission. They finally managed to break open the safe holding the gold, but the journey had been far from easy. They faced multiple obstacles, including a terrifying moment when they nearly ran out of oxygen underwater. When they opened the safe, their excitement quickly turned to disappointment. Instead of the 27 tons of gold Lara had promised, there were only a few gold bars inside. Frustration filled the air, and Jack seemed especially upset, directing his anger at Lara. But Matt stepped in, urging everyone to stay calm and reminding them that blaming each other wouldn't help. Even with just 10 gold bars, the team decided to split them equally. Feeling disheartened, the team was about to lose hope. But as they prepared to leave, Matt noticed something unusual during another dive. He saw a wall with letters that appeared backward, making him suspect there was something hidden behind it. Acting on his hunch, they broke down the wall, and to their astonishment, they found the enormous treasure they had been searching for, a huge stash of gold bars. With newfound energy, they started moving the gold into a large net, getting ready to lift it to the surface. Everything was going smoothly, and they were nearly done when a sudden, loud noise echoed through the water. As the team worked quickly to get the gold to the surface, Petrovich noticed something was wrong. Old banknotes from the treasure started floating up to the surface of the lake, revealing the team's presence. Furious, Petrovich ordered his men to dive into the water and eliminate them. The Serbian soldiers tried to catch Matt and his team, but Stan managed to fight them off, giving the team enough time to lift the gold using a gas balloon. But Petrovich wasn't giving up. He started throwing grenades into the lake, desperately trying to hit the team. Luckily, none of the explosions harmed them. Finally, Matt and his team surfaced, only to find themselves face-to-face with Petrovich and his soldiers. A fierce shootout began, and the team fought back with all they had. Things took a dangerous turn when Petrovich fired an RPG at them. Amid the chaos, Jimmy appeared in a helicopter just in time. He launched an attack and destroyed Petrovich's boat, saving Matt and his team from what seemed like certain death. With the gold now safe, the team made their way back home. But their relief was short-lived. Commander Levin was furious when he learned that a civilian, Jimmy, had been involved in a top-secret mission. He demanded answers, questioning why the team had taken the gold. Matt calmly explained their true intention: to use the gold to rebuild the city and help the Serbian people who had suffered so much. Hearing this, Commander Levin's anger began to fade. He realized the mission had a greater purpose. Levin called a press conference, announcing that the gold would be returned to the Serbian government as restitution for past war crimes. The American troops were ordered to hand over the gold so it could be used to rebuild the city and aid the people. Commander Levin made it clear to the media that the gold, stolen by the Nazis over 50 years ago, rightfully belonged to the Serbian people. He declared that the elite American team had completed their mission successfully. But in a surprising twist, Levin revealed that the gold was valued at $150 million. He then announced that half of it would be given to those who had taken part in the mission, including Laura, who had always dreamed of using it to restore her homeland. When it was time to distribute the gold, Matt and his team made a selfless decision. They gave their share back to Laura, trusting her to use it to help the Serbian people. By doing so, they showed that their mission had never been about personal gain, but about making a real difference and bringing hope to a war-torn country. So the moral of the story is, if you ever find yourself fighting Nazis, diving for gold, and battling angry Serbian soldiers, just remember, a gas balloon, a helicopter named Jimmy, and a wild night at the bar can solve almost anything.